1969, college football has been pretty much an amateur sport. It's been a launching point for many players to move to the major leagues, as we've seen over and over. However, for those sports students who were really only able to profit once they got to a major team or label, things have changed.
Now comes NIL in college football, where those athletes are now able to grab a little more in their pockets beforehand. The question is it right? Well, we are with Wesley Mears. He's director of the Masters of Public Administration program at Augusta University, and Lance Hunter, political science professor, to discuss the ramifications of these changes. Guys, thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you.
And you said something just happened this morning, right?
Right. Well, part of the ongoing issues with NIL is recently athletes who could not participate in NIL before the 2021 case, Alston versus NCAA. They filed a lawsuit, and that's House versus NCAA. And right now they are working out a settlement. And as of this morning, they just filed more documents and more papers of what that pay structure may look like. Now, everything still has to be approved by the judge, but eventually that settlement is starting to make more steps and progressions forward.
All right, so we're going to hear a lot more about this. So let's go ahead and get everybody situated with the idea. College football obviously is right around the corner. NIL, name, image, and likeness, that has been dominating the discussions when it comes to NCAA and major programs. So let's start with the obvious. What is NIL? What kind of impact does this have?
Yeah, so you hit it, name, image, and likeness. So this is the ability of athletes to basically participate in sponsorships of corporations, companies, products, and able to lend their image in order to participate and get financial arrangements out of that as well. So they're able to earn money off of their individual selves.
And clearly a very relevant topic today. So what inspired you all to investigate the topic?
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Oh, you go first. Yeah, so a number of things. One is just the impact. So we're looking at 2023 to 2024. It's estimated there's going to be roughly $1.2 billion, or a little bit underspent on NIL. Roughly 60% of that will be for college football, 25% for men's college basketball, and then 5% for women's college basketball, and then the rest of the percentages distributed among the other sports. So one, just the financial impact, and then also as well, one question we were really interested in understanding is there any type of donor fatigue going on? Because donors contribute a lot of money to universities and athletic departments, but with the emergence of NIL, they're asked to contribute to NIL now. So to what extent do donors say, well, I'm already giving to the university and the athletic department, right. I just don't have the funds for NIL now. So how does that affect fundraising for universities and athletic departments? So we were really interested in that.
Could be stretching a little too thin here.
Exactly.
So you did the study. What were the findings regarding this? How did this turn out for the department's fundraising?
Well, it was really interesting. So in our study, we broke it apart really into two groups. We looked at the traditional power conferences, and then we looked at the non-power conferences. And then we surveyed the chief financial officers at the universities and their athletic directors. So what we ultimately found was on the university side, so everything excluding athletics, there's not a lot of negative perception around NIL. They so far haven't seen a lot of major impacts in terms of fundraising for the university side. Now on the athletic department side, we see a lot more negative perception from NIL in terms of it's starting to get more, less dollars in terms of fundraising. There were a couple of institutions that took the survey that even mentioned that a lot of their capital expansion products for athletics, they had to push those back because NIL is demanding more of those resources now.
Yeah.
And what else did you find?
Yeah. Well, one of the things as well is the donor fatigue was an issue. So especially for the athletic department directors, which a majority of those said that some of the donors are telling them they're just kind of exhausted because they're constantly being asked more frequently for more donations and also as well larger donations. And sometimes even though the donors have a lot of resources to contribute, there is a limited amount. So they are seeing that donor fatigue. And then one thing as well, a number of the athletic department directors were really pleased that student athletes now can receive NIL. So that was a positive, but one of the potential negatives is sometimes the playing field's not even for all college teams because, not every team is playing by the same rules. And so they really want more rules and regulations to have more transparency, that's in play. So there's an even playing field as much as possible.
In a weird way, this is kind of becoming a pay-to-play type field?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be, but it is in reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And a lot of them say that because there's not a federal regulation of this, the NCAA has been basically shut down in multiple court cases. So now states have started to pass their own laws. There's 50 different states, so there could be up to 50 different systems in which you operate in, right? And so they want to see some transparency, not only on the side of what deals are being made, but how deals are being made, but they also just want equity in the playing field. They want everybody to be playing by the same rules.
All right. This is really interesting, and obviously we're going to get a lot more information about this in the coming days to come, especially after this, like you said, the decision that was made earlier this morning. For this.
All right, it's just a filing, the filing
Right,
that's going on to hopefully start moving it further forward.
Yeah.
Interesting points. Wesley, Lance, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us here this morning.
Thank you.
all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.